For me, one of the most inspirational moments in my life was when I watched Leander Paes win the Olympic bronze medal at the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. To see him stand on the podium, to see him win that medal, to see the Indian flag going up, to see that tear rolling down his cheek, I think was really inspiring. And at that very moment, I decided that I wanted to play for India at the Olympics. And that was the start of my dream.
My time in the US was when I was first exposed to the internet in a really big way. I still remember opening up my Gmail account when I was in university, and it had been about 15 days since it happened. And there was a lot happening around that because just right after the dot-com bubble, a lot of new business ideas were coming in, but were far more cautious.
So I remember the moment quite clearly, sitting at my desk at Goldman Sachs. This would have been 2003. And as an equity analyst, reading a tremendous amount on both China and India and the opportunities that this part of the world presented. And knowing that these are big and complicated markets, and knowing also that the only way to really gain context and understand was to be in them, I quit my job, put on a backpack for the next year and a half, and I traveled extensively throughout Southeast Asia, Asia, and in India for about 9 months. During that time, I traveled via trains, north, south, east, and west, to try and gain an understanding of this country, and was struck by the extraordinary opportunity, both professionally as well as personally.
Personally, when I think of Groupon, I think this is perhaps the best shot I will get in changing the way Indian consumers engage with the internet.
Olympic Gold Quest was founded by two of India's sporting legends, Geet Sethi and Prakash Padukone. The mission of OGQ is very focused to help Indian athletes win Olympic medals. All of us have been athletes, all of us have been through the grind, and we have been frustrated that the talent was there but the support system never existed. And that's what OGQ aims to do. We aim to bridge the gap between where Indian athletes are currently and where we need to be to help challenge for Olympic medals.
So Espada is an early-stage venture capital firm operating in India, focused on what we call essential services. India has a very vibrant venture capital ecosystem, but much of that money is focused on technology. We fund nuts and bolts businesses operating at the last mile, which are critical for improving livelihoods, and we think very important to the continued growth of the backbone of India, Inc.
Everyone in my world knows this. The 1 year at ISB completely changed me as an individual.
I think for me at ISB, the biggest learning experience has been from the entire group environment, be it in study groups, be it with your classmates, be it with your quaddies.
Here I was like this linear science guy with just one unilateral perspective, and suddenly these multiple dimensions come in.
All coming from diverse backgrounds. One was an entrepreneur, one was a sales guy, one was a typical IT geek, and here was I, a sportsman.
When I look across the broader early-stage funding ecosystem in India, I find entrepreneurs, I find venture capitalists, I find people in the startup community from across the ISB batches. There's a tremendous amount of entrepreneurial activity that comes directly out of the school. In fact, the first deal we did out of Espada Investment Advisors was found via the ISB networks and negotiated right here in this room.
When I look at my year or years post-ISB, I think two things really changed. One is my ability to take risk. I'm a lot more confident, and as an entrepreneur, that is extremely important. And second is the network. The ISB alumni today is spread across the entire world, almost every company that you can think of. And as an entrepreneur, I know that these alumni of these companies are either my future clients or my future service providers. That, for me, is the ISB experience.
Someone with 8 years of work experience in IT services and a mother to a 1-year-old, ISB for me was the answer to the question, where can I go for world-class business education without really compromising on these initial very special years with my daughter?
For me, it was the perfect bridge back to India.
I don't graduate with my degree only, but also with my business plan.
One thing that ISB really teaches you is to be humble. When I walked in, I was like this big guy. And then my study group. One guy is an army major, 21 years of experience. The other guy is an IIT Delhi grad, 9th rank. And the third guy is a national level footballer. And when you look at myself, just a run-of-the-mill chartered accountant.
To learn by doing, in shortest span of time.
Life-altering, life-changing.
Inspiring.
Immaculate.
Change the status quo.
Exhilarating.
Prioritizing.
I'm ready to get transformed by ISB.